if I
Sure.
might jump in, Mr. Chairman. The bottom line is that in the end, GAO was able to interview, along with the OIG, all of the USDA employees that we felt we needed to talk to gather more information concerning several allegations that we heard concerning obstructing GAO's work, shredding some documents, as well as manipulating some of the data. In the end, we got full cooperation from USDA. We were able to gather sufficient information to either refer some of these allegations back to the Inspector General or to the Department of Justice. And in the end, GAO was able to get sufficient information to be able to report out on the findings that I gave to you today.
Right. Thank you very much. Let me go to you, Ms. McKay. Now, you heard the testimony from Mr. Boyd, of course, and Mr. Givens, you know, and you stated that county committees play no role in the disbursement of USDA program benefits. But we've heard time and time again, you know, from farmers that are discriminated against by these county boards when they apply for loans. You heard, as indicated, Mr. Givens, Mr. Boyd, and of course I've talked to others, you know, and there are no minorities on these county committees. You know, what role does the county committee play?
The county committee does not get involved in applications for credit programs. There are other USDA programs and benefits that they do get involved in, such as disaster assistance. They do have a very important role in making sure that local farmers have access to USDA programs and services. However, there is a misconception that they still play a role in approving applications for credit. They do not and have not since 1999. Applications for farm loans, operating loans, go directly to the FSA county office, not to the county committees.
Now, you indicated that you made some progress.
Yes.
You know, could you be specific? Because, you know, the general feeling out there is that nothing is really being done. And they've actually lost confidence in you and your civil rights, division. I mean, they've lost confidence in it. I mean, you heard some of the comments here today. Could you respond to that?
Well, I think that a lot of the comments that were made predate my tenure at USDA, and I understand how they feel. I would feel the same way, but I respectfully, I think they're not looking at what we are trying to do. It's a large ship and it turns slowly, and the initiatives that I'm working on right now will eventually pay off. These problems were years in the making. They're not going to go away overnight. I think I can do a better job in communicating what we're working on, which is why I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today to talk about what we're doing. And I do honestly believe that it will pay off.
Right. Do you have timetables, aims, objectives, and goals?
We do. We have a diversity strategic plan. We have an outreach strategic plan. We have strategic plans in place or in clearance for our initiatives.
Well, let me just point out here, USDA's recent history has included several serious accusations of non-compliance with federal and civil rights statutes. As a result, Pickford, USDA has recompensed more than 13,000 black farmers, nearly $1 billion as it was, that's B as in boy, in damages for civil rights violations. Since then, 3 other class action suits have been filed alleging racial or gender discrimination in FSA programs. Garcia versus Glickman on behalf of Hispanic farmers. Keep Siegel versus Glickman on behalf of American Indians, and Love versus Glickman on behalf of women. How many USDA employees were terminated or in any way disciplined for those more than 13,000 instances of discrimination?
I can't tell you that. First of all, I was not here then. Secondly, there was no reporting mechanism at that time, at the time of Pickford in the 90s. As I mentioned in my statement, we do now have an accountability policy that requires whenever there's a finding of discrimination, and even sometimes in a settlement, that persons who are found to have committed wrongdoing are referred to the appropriate HR office for disciplinary action.
So do you hear whether anybody was fired?
I have heard, but I don't think it would be appropriate for me to say here because I don't have any basis in fact for what I'm hearing.
Yeah. You know, I just find it, you know, sort of difficult, you know, to think about, you know, 13,000 wrongdoings, and that someone, if it was in private industry, some heads would roll. I mean, no ifs, ands, and buts about it, and you know that.
I don't know that they didn't roll. I just don't know one way or the other.
According to the information that we have, they did not roll. And many of the farmers in the first panel pointed out discrimination in the administration of programs benefit by FSA. Although the details vary from, you know, farmer to farmer, the general outlines of the stories remain the same. A minority farmer tries to apply for a farm operating loan through the FSA county office well in advance of planting season. The FSA county office might claim to have no applications. I mean, can you imagine that? No applications available, and ask the farmer to return later. Now, planting is a timely thing that you have to do it during a certain amount of time frame, and you can't plant, you know, after a certain date and time because of a lot of reasons, you know. And upon returning, the farmer might receive an application without any assistance in completing it, and is then asked repeatedly to correct mistakes or complete oversight in the loan application. Why wouldn't somebody give him technical assistance? Because some of these farmers don't have a lot of training in terms of educational training, but they know how to farm.
Right.
And they've been doing it all their lives. That's all they know. I mean, why wouldn't technical assistance be available to those farmers?
Well, we rely on the community-based organizations to provide that kind of local hands-on technical assistance. In addition, we have a Center for Minority Farmers at USDA, so that if someone calls, we might be able to assist, but we don't have the staff to be throughout the country assisting farmers to fill out applications. We do work with our partners, our community-based and faith-based organizations. We train them. We rely upon them when we have our partners meeting, which we do regularly. We talk about how, and actually they get grants also to provide that kind of technical assistance.
You know, another thing they complain about is that when they get the loan, if they get it, it's reduced. And then it's not enough to be able to go and to pay the vendors and to move forward. And of course, here they are with not enough, stuck with a loan, not being able to plant. How do you expect them to pay it? That's the reason why I think technical assistance would be automatic, because we know that farmers don't generally have PhDs.
Right. And also the local FSA office is supposed to provide technical assistance, and if they don't, then we need to hear about it through the complaint process.
You know, let me ask this then. If you have an office or an agency that's not complying, you know, what happens to them? If these complaints come in and the fact that there's no applications in the office, and they complain, you know, what generally happens in a case like this?